This week on JPP Just Snippets, the guys talk about a man with a past, a man with no past, which one is worse. They talk about who's the better pop artist of all time, Prince or Michael Jackson. Is the Cowboys window closing, and which football position would you spend money on? Thank you for listening to Just Press Play.
A red wasp is after me. Pregnant ladies and little kids better get the hell out of the way, because I am running. I'm like Forrest Gump, dude. I am running. So,
who also got covered by Aretha Franklin in RSPECT. Find out what it means to me.
I want you each to use ombudsman in a sentence next week in our podcast.
I got one for you. My name is Kevin, the official ombudsman of the Just Press Play podcast. You like apples? So, Dad, I hear you have a caution on deck. What do you got for us this week?
I do have a question. So here goes. You're sitting in an empty bar in a town you've never before visited, drinking Bacardi with a soft-spoken acquaintance you barely know. After an hour, a third individual walks into the tavern and sits by himself, and you ask your acquaintance who the new man is. Be careful of that guy, you are told. He is a man with a past. A few minutes later, a fourth person enters he also sits alone. You ask your acquaintance who this new individual is. Be careful of that guy too, he says. He is a man with no past. Which of these two people do you trust less?
The man with the past or the man without a past?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you don't really. So all we know is that we have heard this man has a past. We don't know what.
Yeah.
Who do you trust less? I would also add, who are you more careful about?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that kind of begs the question, I don't know if that's the right terminology, but of what we mean by trust. Like, is this like, who are you more nervous around, or is like, who would you rather give a short-term loan to?
The way I took it is, who are you more wary of?
That's the way I kind of took it, was which one am I kind of, keeping an eye on, not,
That's how
I guess not trusting, but I just keep my stuff in my pocket a little tighter,
So like, I guess it's probably not fair, but I think, you kind of got to ask your friend, like, so what's the past? Like, what did he do? This one guy that we do know something about, like, at least you can dig for more information there. But if we're like, the spirit of the game probably says no, you just have to, those are your two terms.
At that, right.
And so I think I'd say I'd be more worried about the person with no past, because I don't know, to have no story would either imply that you're nobody or that you've got something really serious to hide. At least the person who has a past is still accepted in society in some way, so he's not like in prison or something. But
yes, but the person with the past could have just, he had, or you're saying you trust the person with no past the least?
No, yes.
Yeah,
well, that last word was important.
He threw that last word was extremely important. Yes.
I think I would agree with LJ to the extent. I just think that the person with the past, maybe whatever has happened, whatever is there, it's in the past, like it's happened, and this other person is just so vague, I just don't know. There's so many question marks that I think I'd really keep my eyes open on him. I'd be watching him or her, that person.
The person with no past.
Yes.
Okay, I'm in total agreement with y'all, because I think what hits me is everybody has a past. So
sure, yeah.
if this guy doesn't have a past, that means he's good at covering it up. If he's covering up his past, there's a reason he's covering up his past. And I would stay away from that. If you got a past, hell, we've all done some bullshit, and you deal with it, you own up to it, and just you work through it. But somebody that has none.
Now, I would argue that someone with a past could be like someone who nobody in the town knows because they just sit at home, watch Netflix all day. Like, there is a chance that it means nothing, and probably increasingly so, as the internet becomes more and more a part of our lives. But still, it feels like if someone's willing to tell you don't go to him because he has no past, like, that feels like a warning worth listening to, because even if it means nothing, it's not worth overstepping that. That's my thoughts.
I think we got to take everything. Why are we just trusting this? This person is just an acquaintance. We barely know this person, and we're trusting
maybe this acquaintance is really the issue.
Yeah, maybe this person is the asshole, and it's just tell me who I should trust and not trust.
Yeah,
I don't even know who you are. I'm in a town I've never been in before. Just let me drink my beer. Stop judging people.
Who died and left you in charge? You don't know Jack.
I like the idea of Kevin going to a small town bar and someone's like, don't go talk to him. And Kevin's like, well, I'll do what I damn well please.
And one more Bacardi, please.
All right.
have a question for you just offhand real quick because I saw your shirt. Who's better, Prince or Michael Jackson?
I'm going Prince.
I think I do too.
It's a tough call. It's a tough call, but I'm going Prince.
Both maybe the greatest at pop ever. You know, it's one or two, definitely. But
I think Prince probably his album of
multifaceted
music,
talent.
Yeah, I mean his talent it spanned a lot of different genres. I mean he could be super funky, he could be pop, he could be religious, he could be
MJ
Prince
might be the best pop singer and pop dancer of all time.
Of
Prince
time.
Also could play the bass and play the keys and probably play the saxophone.
He could slap
play
with a
maybe
bass.
the best guitar of anybody.
On Prince too, on the second Prince album, the one with "I Want to Be Your Lover" and "It's Going to Be Lonely," he did every music, every sound you hear on there. Prince did every single sound.
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, I think I agree with you for that exact reason.
So I alluded to it a little earlier, but LJ, you got me watching that All or Nothing on Amazon with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I was watching it, and
I want to watch the one about rugby.
I didn't even know that was a thing coming up. Now I'm excited.
They
about
got
it.
a new one out. The All Blacks in New Zealand.
So, Dad, if you're unaware, it's basically Hard Knocks, except for it travels. NFL Films does it, and it's through the regular season, the whole season. It's not just the 4 weeks of training. So
it comes out much later.
Yeah, it comes out after the season's over. But so I'm watching it, and one thing that really struck me was I see, and me and LJ talked about this a little bit, but I see like why Jerry Jones is amazing at what he does and why he's built the Cowboys to an unbelievable brand, but why he's also tearing the Cowboys down on the field.
Yeah, like maybe the worst thing about the
Cowboys. Like the fact that he has to be, like he's in every those like Sunday meetings. So the games are played on Sunday, and I think coaches meet on Monday usually to talk about, all right, because players usually have a day off and then they hit the practice for the next day. So coaches meet to go evaluate the game. Here's what happened. Here's what we need to work on for next week. You know, they have their whole thing. And of course, in every single one of the Cowboys Monday morning meetings, it's Jerry Jones running the show, not Jason Garrett. And he's like talking about what he saw on the field. It's you're the guy to sign the checks. I know, I get it's your team, you do what you want to do, but he's in every single one of them. And even the ones that he couldn't attend, he starts off the meeting on the phone. Like they have the phone in the center of the table, and he starts off like, all right, boys, well, I just want to go ahead and say that this week Dak Prescott looked really good. And the worst part about it is nobody argues with anything he says. That's
what I was going to say is it's not necessarily the fact that he's at everything, but it's that I've never heard anybody say anything in that show that wasn't a reflection of something that he said a day earlier. Everybody around him.
Right. And I think that's why Jason Garrett has kept the job for so long. Cause I don't think Jason Garrett's a bad coach. Yeah. He can get you to 8-8, but that's not what, I mean, at the end of the day, that's not what you want. And so I think, but what he likes is when Jerry Jones says like, we need to do this, this, and this, you could tell at one point Garrett didn't agree with him, I didn't think, but he was just like, yeah, you're right. And they didn't talk about it again. They just went with what Jerry Jones said. And it's like, golly, it was just like what back in the day, the reason Bill Parcells and Jimmy Johnson both built good teams at the Cowboys is because they were running the show. And the reason both of them left is because Jason Garrett Jerry Jones started taking control. So that's my big spiel on I finally, but you do see some of the stuff about what he does advertising with the Thanksgiving game and concerts and how they've built an amazing brand. They're very smart businessmen.
Great businessmen.
It's too much on the field. But now.
But I think the basic of what you're saying is if you are a CEO of a company and you surround yourself with yes men, you're going to fail.
Someone's got to be.
You need somebody to tell you like it is. This is.
Nobody's fault.
Because sometimes you're too close to the fire. You got to back up a little bit and see. So you need people to tell you, well, you need some pushback. And I just don't think the Cowboys have any of that. But
when I would argue maybe that's even why you hire a CEO is so they can be far enough from the fire to see all of the fires and have a little bit of input on a lot of things and not have the minutia of everything. Like
I totally get. You paid a lot of money for this team, and you are the owner of this team. You should have a little bit. You should have
run
a say.
it the way you want to. All right, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not saying if I owned a team, I'd be at every meeting and I'd be telling people how to run that team too. I'm not saying that like I wouldn't be.
Yeah, but there needs to be the person that goes, I don't think we should take Baker Mayfield with the first pick. Like it shouldn't be whatever the owner says done. Bill Belichick should be able to say something and at least listen to him. And you might disagree, but at least listen to him. And you see a little bit more because like the Cowboys didn't draft Johnny Manziel like Jerry Jones wanted. And that was just because I think Stephen Jones said no. The coaches probably were scared to tell him anything. They were fine with it.
Yeah. If you're naming Jones, you better have a positive opinion about.
Oh my God. And what a call that was. They got that guard right from Notre Dame, Zach.
That's when they got Zach Zach Martin's now like the highest paid guard in the NFL, and he's
the best
beast.
Yeah.
But so then I want to go to I think the Cowboys have lost their window. They hit gold because if you've watched the Seahawks showed everyone how to build a team now with the rookie wage. We got on this a little bit, but it's with that new rookie wage scale to where if you get an adequate quarterback they don't have to get paid right away. They're not getting paid like what quarterbacks go for now, where they're $20 million a year.
Yeah.
If they're average, they're going to get paid a lot. Go look at Sam Bradford; he keeps getting paid. But if you're the Seahawks, they hit goal with Russell Wilson. So for 4 years, he was making the same amount of money as their long snapper. So they went and got 4 edge rushers, 3 corners, 2. They got everything, and they loaded their positions. And then the Eagles just did the same thing, even though Wentz is a little more because he wasn't a 4th round pick, but he's still on a scale. So he's only getting, $28 million instead of 116 or something. So now they're able to go fill up, and they went and got a stacked roster around a pretty good quarterback. And the Rams are doing it now. I don't think Jared Goff's the guy, but you realize if he's close enough, let's go ahead and go all in. Let's go get Marcus Peters.
Because he's cheap for a couple of years.
Yeah, because at some point his contract's going to go up, and you either got to pay him or draft a new one. Because he's going to get paid. And so the problem with the Cowboys, I think, is they had their chance. They went Zeke and Dak's rookie year. They got lucky, I think, and they struck gold, and they went 14-2. And the Cowboys thought, this team's good enough, just like it is. We're going to roll with it. And that year is actually the year they should have parted ties or separated with Witten and Dez, because both of those guys were aging and still getting paid like they were playing up to that par, and they weren't. So they need to cut ties and go get the deepest roster possible. And now they're trying to do it, but now you only have a year or two left of Dak before you pay Dak $20 million. And I still don't know for sure. I like him. I don't know if he's an elite quarterback.
I don't know if he's worth that. I agree.
But you're going to have to – he's going to get it. If he doesn't get it from the Cowboys, he's going to get it from someone else. We just saw Kirk Cousins get paid. So I think they waited too long, and now they're like, oh, crap, we need to strike while the iron's hot. Well, the iron was hot 2 years ago. Now you're – in the NFL, your window is closing. As soon as it's opening, it's already starting to close. So you better go now.
Yep, that's true.
And I think after watching some of the All or Nothing and then seeing the Cowboys' moves, I think they're going to be good maybe for a few years, but they lost their chance they had a chance at building a Seahawks run where they were maybe one of the best teams for a 4-year stretch, and now they think they'll just be good for a 4-year stretch.
So if you could get lucky on a young, cheap quarterback, what position group would you spend money on? What would be your luxury item?
Both lines, really. I think you see.
Pick one.
I would probably go defensive line then, because I think the Giants showed.
Okay.
We've seen forever. If you can get to the quarterback,
you got to have an offensive line. You got to have an offensive line to protect that guy. I think I'd lean to offensive line. I really do.
I think I'd go linebackers, but offensive line is my number 2.
You need those in rushers.
But defensive line's good,
right?
But they're all. It's tough. That's a tough question, I think.
Yeah, and we had the conversation.
Corners, that's for damn
we had
sure.
the conversation at one point about corners and edge rushers. And I just think defensively, if you can get pressure on the quarterback, every other position looks 10 times better. Those all of a sudden, those corners look a lot better when they're only guarding for 2 seconds instead of 4.
Yeah, that's why I still think I'm going to the offensive line, because you got to hold that pressure back.
I can see both sides of that, because at the end of the day, the game is won at the line of scrimmage, whether via offensive line and defensive line. So I think you go, and that's what the Eagles went and got. They already had a decent offensive line, and they just went and drafted nothing but edge rushers. They went and paid edge rushers. Mm-hmm. That's what the Vikings are trying now. It's
smart thing to do. Yeah,
and you got to get kind of lucky. The Seahawks also and the Eagles also drafted really well. They drafted a good quarterback, Wilson and Wentz, and then they went and they drafted Cam Chancellor and Richard Sherman.
But as those quarterbacks start to get their big paying contracts, you better have spent your money on,
because you already see the Seahawks are falling apart now because Russell Wilson, as he should, he got paid, and now they couldn't pay all the guys.
And now those other guys, they can't pay the other guys. Right.
Yeah, and so that's why maybe the Cowboys could go ahead and go all in and trade for Earl Thomas right now, because he wants to come, instead of just waiting for free agency and hoping he comes. Because like we said, if you wait another year, the window's just a little closer to being closed, and now you better get it.
I mean, it's almost like their hope is to just hope that it opens up again soon.
It's funny
by the way
you
that
talked
you're
about
making it sound.
Yeah, it's funny you talked about unintended consequences, and that we briefly touched on it, but it was when the NFL signed that new deal where they did the rookie wage scale. This is one of the consequences was you got to hit on a quarterback, and unless you have a Tom Brady or an Aaron Rodgers where they can literally just win a game by themselves, you got that 4-year window.
Take less money.
Yeah,
they've got enough endorsements that they don't don't need the money.
So because
That's
if
what
you're
you
Kirk
need, is
Cousins,
a quarterback that good.
because now you're the Vikings and you're paying Kirk Cousins like he's the best quarterback in the NFL. I think he's good, but he's not that. But you either draft him or you pay him. One of the two. That's the only way to figure it out.
Yeah. And paying them's hard to do anything else with. So yeah, it's tough.
I like your theory. It's very interesting. Yes.
Thanks for spending another week with Just Press Play. We're happy to have you here. Please follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Please enjoy our comments on Twitter and or Facebook. Thank you for sharing your time with us.